Hey, hey, hey. This is Lakeisha with Take Your Mask Off. We are going to be talking about the unhealed mother, giving yourself permission to heal.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Kanitra Moselle, and I am so excited. We just finished up the book and brunch to launch my first book, Grace for This, the devotional. It's a 21-day journey for women who are growing through grief. The conversations that we had in here today was phenomenal. I want to let you know that GRACE is the acronym. It stands for Grief, Rest, Aid, Community, and Evolve. The reality of it is that we are experiencing a grief journey every single day. Every transition can cause you to grief, but are you leaning into your grief? Grieving is also exhausting, so I'm going to encourage you to actually rest. And when you're resting, rest is clarifying. You're going to learn what you do and don't have capacity for anymore. And guess what? You're going to begin to ask with more clarity about exactly what you need. That C stands for community, because when you start asking for help, your people who are meant for this next season are going to respond to your ask, and your community is going to change. And then lastly, when you go through that grace journey, you're going to evolve to the next best version of yourself. So I'm so excited for you to be a part of this journey. You're going to love what we're doing in this community. Follow Kanitra Moselle and follow Grace for This on Instagram and Facebook.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey. So, again, I'm Lakeisha, and I am here with the organization called Take Your Mask Off. And we're going to be talking about a topic tonight about healing and how to do that and how to give yourself permission to do that, right? I am excited because I have the opportunity to do this on a magnificent platform tonight. And I am just super, 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 ooper duper ready to jump into this topic tonight because it is so needed, right? It is so needed because it's right after Mother's Day, right? Right after the day that we have been celebrated, right after the day that we have been honored, we've been seen, all of those good things, right? Right after that day. So now I want to ask you the question after you have been celebrated, after people have bought you gifts and loved on you, I want to talk about the one question. Did they ask you how you were doing? Right? Did they ask you how you were doing out of all that? Maybe they did, but did they stick around long enough to really hear your truth? Or were you even in that position where you was able to speak your truth? Right? Or did we wear that mask? Right? So let's dive in. So I want to first talk about what motherhood is, a definition of what motherhood is. So motherhood is the journey of nourishing, guiding, and just getting our kids to the next journey, right? Through love, through guidance, through discipline, all of those things. That is what motherhood is. Through just the love for our children, we pour into them so much, right? But what if you haven't had the example? What if you had never seen love? What if you have never had a healthy relationship with your parents? Right? We're flying pretty much by the seat of our pants because we always say there's no manual to parenthood or motherhood, right? There's no manual. So we're going off assumptions, right? We're going off what we think. We're going off what we feel is the correct way to go. And no shade to nobody because, again, I am a parent. Just to give a little disclosure, I talk about this topic so heavily because I am that parent, right? I have a 31-year-old, a 26-year-old, and I have an 18-year-old son, right? And so talking about this topic is necessary for me because I walk this journey as I'm going through now and encouraging other parents to walk the same journey, right? So I do have some kind of skin in the game. I'm not just talking about this what I think. I'm talking about what I have walked through, what I'm still walking through, and what I'm still kind of confused about, right? If truth be told, because we don't have all the answers. So if you see me looking down, I have notes because I didn't want to ramble tonight. I have really good things that I want to give you that the guy has given me tonight. And I just really want this to be a very wholesome conversation tonight about motherhood and the importance of it, right? And the understanding of how to be that mom, right? And so right now, when we think about motherhood in this day in society, it can be really heavy. It can be really heavy. We have so many different influences coming at our children, different voices, different spirits, just different things that's coming at our children. And so we're having to work through all of that on top of still trying to figure out what motherhood is, right? And so we're talking about the unhealthy mom tonight. The unhealthy mom, because again, we're walking through this journey in a sense blind. We have God, we have the Bible, we have our foundation, right? But if truth be told, who really leans on the word of God to really parent our kids on a day-to-day basis? We're doing what we feel like is the correct thing to do. We're doing what we feel like is the correct thing to do, right? And 9 times out of 10, we're winning the battle and losing the war. We're winning the battle and losing the war because, again, we're trying to make them do what we feel is the correct thing for them to do. And now it's becoming a dictatorship, right? Instead of a partnership. And I know people say, oh, I can't be my kid's friend. I can't be my kids. They don't have to listen to what I say and do it. I'm telling you, that's how we start to lose the war. Because again, we have to understand our kids have their own voices. And I know, me, back in the day, before I learned better, I would not hear my children because my mom, my dad didn't hear me, and their parents didn't hear them. But I asked the question, where did that get us? Right? Where did that get us? That got us where we're having a kerfuffle, where we're having friction in the house because we're trying to be the dictator. A good parent is a good parent, period. But I feel, me personally, as I've went through this journey with my 3 children, me having a conversation with them and me hearing them helps me to come up with a better decision on what needs to happen for them in their life. Not saying that I listen to everything that they say or take their opinions as the final say, but what I'm saying is I allow them to speak their truth, and now I understand where they're at, and now I can make a better decision. That's going to kind of keep a lot of the friction down. But when we are unhealed mothers, right? We have broken ears. We have broken ears, right? Because we hear everything as disrespect. We hear everything as an attack. We hear everything as them being disobedient, dysfunctional, or whatever the case may be. But where do they learn it, right? Where do they learn it? Our kids do as we do, not do as we say. We would like them to do that, but they do as we do, right? And so we display that unhealthy relationship or that unhealthy behavior, and then we get upset with them when they give it back to us, right? The unhealed mom. Right, so tonight I just want to talk about that kind of stuff because I really feel like we get honored on Mother's Day. They celebrate us, they buy us all these gifts, and then the day after, we go back to the reality of the dysfunction, the trauma, the kerfuffle, the arguing, the fussing, the fighting, the disrespect, all of that. We go back to the day after Mother's Day, right? And again, I'm not saying that as every family does that or every family operates like that, but there is a point in time where we clash, right? And we have to take accountability for ourselves as parents. We have to take accountability because we teach our kids how to act. We teach our kids how to conduct themselves. And I have this thing that I've really been sitting with, right? Because we teach our kids, despite if we want to admit it or not, we teach our children how to perform. Hear me out. Because when our kids are doing good, we praise them, right? We praise them. We give them all the accolades. Oh, you're doing good. Yeah, all this stuff. But when they disobey us or when they do something contrary to what we don't want them to do, we bash them, right? With our mouths. Oh, you this and blah, 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 da, 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 da. Instead of, I suggest us loving them the same way we love them when they are disobedient. We have to love them through we love them through when they're being good and doing what we want them to do, but we have to also love them through their disobedience. And what does that look like? First, we have to wait till we calm down before we go at them with a conversation. Because if we speak to our emotions as you've been taught in the moment, what did it say? On sight. On sight, I'm gonna get in your behind, right? And when we don't give ourselves time to calm down and breathe through it, process it, we react right then and we do more detriment to them in that moment instead of taking a step back and saying, you know what, give me 10 minutes. I'll talk to you in a minute, right? But we want to do it right then and there because we've learned how to do that. We've learned how to do that from our parents, right? And again, I'm just telling you what worked for me and what's working for me right now because I understand our kids we just, whoa, right? I get it. But the unhealed mother reacts to her emotions, right? The unhealed mother reacts to her emotions. And so dictatorship versus partnership. Dictatorship versus partnership is what happens when we calm down and allow ourselves to process it through, right? So again, becoming healed changes our behaviors, right? Becoming healed changes our behaviors. Going back to the foundation of motherhood, how can we give them something we've never had, right? So, speaking for me, my dad was in the military. We grew up in a pretty good home, all that good stuff. But there was still some dysfunction in the home with the mouth, right? With the speaking. So how can we give our kids what we've never had, right? How can if I don't have the confidence because I'm wearing that mask that I'm okay, right? Or if I don't have the self-worth because I'm put together on the outside and I'm showing up as somebody that I want people to see. If I don't have the mental stability because of the trauma that happened in my household growing up, or if I didn't have the love, the genuine love, how can I really give that to my children, right? But we have to be in a position where we can admit that we can admit I have no idea what I'm doing. Right? It doesn't make you a bad mother. It just make you honest. Right? Just like I'm a giver. I love to give. I'll see people on the street that need food or whatever. I want to give them food, but I don't have anything to give them. I can have the desire to want to give them what they need, but if I don't have it to give, how can I give it to them? Right? And so that's where the honesty comes in. We have to be honest. I just don't know how to do this. I just don't know how to maneuver through this. I just don't understand why my kid is acting the way I'm doing everything that I can do. Right? Again, if we have never been taught how to become a healed version of ourselves, how can we expect our children to do what we can't do? Right? Healing is so important, especially as a mother. And again, I can't speak for the father because I'm not a father, right? I'm just speaking from the unhealed mother. I want to be the best version or the best mother for my child. But if I'm walking through life in denial or with the mask on that I'm okay, I got it going on, and I'm giving my kids what I have and it's unhealthy, how can I expect them to show up in a healthy version? There's something to sit with, right? How can I expect them to show up something they've never seen, right? And just to piggyback, just to pivot for a few minutes, that thing that really just chops my hide, right? It's like when you have a young man and they are grown up, to be a man or whatever, and they're acting, contrary to what people want them to act. Be a man. What does that mean? What does that mean, be a man? If they've never seen a man, how can they mimic the behavior of a man? Same thing with us mothers. How can we expect our kids to show up in a healthy version? We have never shown them a healthy version. We pop off with anger, right? We don't show them our vulnerability, right? We don't show them our weakness, right? But then we want them to show up in a healthy version. Well, all of that is part of being healthy. All of that is part of being healthy, right? So we cannot expect them to be what they've never seen. We cannot expect them to control their anger when all they see is us in anger. We cannot see them communicate effectively when they've never seen or had anyone ask them, how are you doing? What's going on with you? It's always me telling them what they should and should not do. That is not the correct way of teaching someone how to be their authentic self. But we have to teach them by example. And that's why it's so important for us mothers to do the work, right? We have to do the work. It is not easy. I'm going to tell you, becoming a different version of yourself when you lived in a comfortable state of dysfunction all your life, and now at this big age, you want to become healed. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy, but it's necessary because we have to break that curse on our kids. We have to give them a better version of ourselves. We have to give them the example so they can have something to run with. We cannot expect them to do what they've never seen. We just can't do it. And that's why it's so important for us to show them a better version. We're trying to pour from an empty cup with a better, we have intentions. We have good intentions. We have the best intentions for our kids. But becoming a different version of ourselves is work. It's work, right? And we have to communicate that with them because if they see us in a state of vulnerability, speak to them, talk to them, let them understand. Stop trying to be this strong person all the time. Stop trying to show up strong all the time. You are not a robot. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to say, I can't do it. I don't know. Let's figure it out together. Let's ask somebody else. I don't have it right now. Look, I need a minute. That is perfectly okay. Stop trying to push through that you can't push through because think about it. If we continue to push, we're going to do more detriment pushing through versus just stopping for a minute, regrouping, and then restarting. Right? I had this analogy in my head as I was really thinking about this topic tonight. And you know how it's like I see a big rock. Like we're pushing this rock, right? We're pushing it all our might. We're pushing it. We're pushing it. We're pushing it, right? We can push through, but the struggle of pushing that rock one by yourself is so heavy. Why are we doing it by ourselves? Because we don't want to ask for help, right? Because society say, get it done, make it happen. What if you don't have the tenacity? What if you don't have the skills? What if you don't have the knowledge to get it done? We're going to do more detriment trying to get it done instead of saying, let me stop for a minute. Let me go over here and ask for help. Let me research. Let me figure it out before I continue just to push through. I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I don't have the skills to do it. Right? But again, it takes a healed person to say, I don't know. It takes a healed person to say, I don't know how to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't have enough strength. Right? It takes a healed person. And I can't express this enough because we have to give ourselves permission to become the better version of ourselves for our children. We just have to. Because if we don't, who will? Right? If we don't show them differently, the better way, the best way, a healthy way, who will? Right? It's our responsibility to give our children the best that we can give them. And one thing that we can do that's going to be so impactful is giving them a healthy version of ourselves. Right? A healthy version of ourselves. We don't have to have all the answers all the time. We can say no. We don't have to make it happen because sometimes making it happen is going to do more hurt because we didn't have to finagle something. Let's just speak real. We're going to have to finagle something to make it happen. And then now we got to deal with the finagling after we done made it happen. Right? So again, being honest with yourself is so important. So important. And one thing that I wanted to say, yeah, consistently feeling strong. That is a mask all in itself. What person you know is always strong enough to do everything? We're operating out of perfection, right? We're operating out of our own strength. We were not built to carry all this weight. We just wasn't. We were not built like that. Then you have the overwhelmness, the frustration, the anger, all of that. And guess who's taking it? Guess who's receiving all of that? Our children. Our children. Our children are receiving all of that backlash, right? The frustration. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm angry. Whatever it may be. Even if we don't come out our mouth and say it, our body language speaks to our children. So they got to stand off and not talk because they don't want to catch the backlash because mama is upset right now, right? When are we going to stop the cycle? When are we going to stop the cycle? Because again, we might not think that our kids are not getting it because we're not saying anything, but just the silence is so loud with our kids. The silence, because they know mommy is not in the right state of mind right now. She might be a little angry. I don't want to talk to her because I don't want her to pop off on me, right? But it's okay if you can admit it. And we do this, just speaking for me, we do this because we don't want to seem weak and we don't want to tarnish our self-worth. Because if we make it happen, if we show up, we feel worthy, right? We feel validated. We feel needed. We feel all these things because that's what we just do. But if we sit back and we think about it, us showing up when we can't really show up, it really demises or damages our relationships with our kids. Instead of just saying, you know what, I don't know. The self-worth is not a outside thing. It's an internal. It's self-worth. What do you feel about yourself? Right? What do you feel about, what you're doing as a mother? Am I doing a good job? Could I have done better? So now you're really breaking yourself down within your self-worth because you don't feel like you're worthy to do what you're doing. And so instead of us focusing on our self-worth, we're gonna do more to get more validation. Right? We're gonna show up more to get more validation. We're gonna overextend ourselves to get more validation. We're gonna buy more to get more validation. Right? And then we wonder why our kids are ungrateful. The unhealed mom, right? The unhealed mom. We do and we do and we do and we give and we give and we give to make ourselves feel worthy, but we're damaging our children. Back in the day when I was growing up, me and my sister was talking about this the other day. Going to McDonald's was a treat. Maybe once a month. Getting a pair of shoes outside of Christmas and your birthday. Let's talk about it. These kids get so much and don't have to really work for anything. And then we want them to feel grateful. For what? We want them to feel appreciative. Of what? They didn't have to work for anything. They're just being handed it to them because we want to feel worthy as a parent, as a mother, right? We want to feel worthy. We're going to do so we can kind of like, I'm going to just say it, buy their validation, right? But it's a self thing, the unhealed mother. It's a self thing, right? We can't continue to do this cycle and expect other outcomes. We gotta nip it in the bud. It's a self thing. It's me. My kids are only doing what I allow them to do, showing up how I allow them to show up. You know what I'm saying? Saying what they want to say, how they want to say it, so we can keep the kerfuffle down. But if we had self worth, we'll have boundaries. That's a whole other topic. Whole other topic, right? Because we have to set those boundaries. But we also do, we show up as the unhealthy mom and the rah rah mom because we want that control. Again, validation. I'm gonna control how you walk, how you talk, how you sleep, what you go, because I want to show you who I am. Oh, we're masking. We're masking because we don't want to deal with ourselves, right? We don't want to feel like, we're inadequate. We don't want to feel like I'm not a good mom. We don't want to feel like my kids are less than. We don't want to feel like they can't get what everybody else get. What does it matter if they're just depleted inside? If they don't have self-worth, if they don't have communication, if they don't have emotional intelligence, what is putting shoes on their feet gonna do? What is what is them doing all this stuff and they still can't communicate how they feel, right? And that's what the unhealthy mom, the unhealed mom, we have to show them a better example. And it's not about the materialistic stuff. It's not about running with the Joneses and the Smiths and everybody else. It's not about that. It's about being aware of your weaknesses, being aware of your deficits. I'm saying it like that. Being aware of your deficit. And a lot of families in the United States are based off of, not all of them, but a lot of them are based off some form of trauma. And if we don't deal with that trauma, we're going to continue to pass it on and on and on, and then be surprised that we're faced with dysfunction. Come on, y'all. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about tonight because I'm telling you, it is so real. We cannot continue to pacify and pretend like we're okay when we're not okay. We cannot continue to mask what we won't deal with. We cannot continue to expect different behavior when we're showing a certain type of behavior. And it all stems with us looking within ourselves and really being honest. That's what it all boils down to. Because if we don't, 10 years down the line, when your child is still being disrespectful and your child is still being, where you can't really speak to them and tell them anything, you wonder, well, where the heck they got that from? Excuse me. Yeah, could anybody tell me anything? Did I ask for help? Was I always a strong person? Oh, okay. And then we wonder why our kids show up the same kind of way. The unhealed mother, right? We have to be aware of what we're doing to ourselves and our children. Again, this healing work, as people will say, is ghetto. It's ghetto. But guess what? It is so worth it. And it's not going to be 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 2 weeks here. This is going to be a journey. Life is a journey. And for the rest of your life, if you choose to heal, you're going to be on a healing journey. That's just what it is. Every single day is a step towards healing, right? We have to continue to push through to show our kids the healed version of ourselves, but it all starts with being the healed mother. The healed mother. And so what we do is we have every third Friday, we have the Moo and Moms. I am super excited about this group because we come in our moo just to give you a little, introduction. Moo when you're in your moo you're free. Right? You just flow free, right? And so you wear your comfortable clothes into this space. We talk about the hard topics. We talk about the confusing topics. We support each other. This is a community of women that want to start the healing process. Again, I'm a coach, and what coaches do, we do whatever we can do to get you to that finish line. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to empower you in this group because, again, we have to boldly emerge from underneath our titles and be the best version of ourselves. Motherhood is not who we are, it's what we do. Right? We are still an individual. So I got to heal myself to become the best version of a mother that I can be. We have to do it. So every Thursday night, every Thursday, Friday, here at our location, Take Your Mask Off. We do this from 6 to 8:30. We come, we pass tissue, we cry, we laugh, we play games. We do all that kind of stuff. But it's just a community of just no judgment, no judgment, no shame, no guilt. So I'm telling you, the unhealed mother, we are showing our kids how to become unhealed adults. It all starts with us. So again, I am Lakeisha Washington. I am the founder of an organization called Take Your Mask Off, where we encourage, empower, and educate you to become the best version of yourself by removing that mask, right? And like I always say, I am who I am and I love me. Take your mask off and become the best version of yourself. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, you want to reach out to me, you can get us on our Facebook page, be on Instagram. You can also get us at our website at www.takeyourmaskoff.org, or you can even call us at 706-842-8688. We're in the community doing big things, I promise you. So if you want to make that choice to become the best version of yourself and remove that mask, get up with us because we got you. So until next time, take your mask off.
Hello, my name is Kenitra Moselle, and I am founder of a beautiful community called Grace for This. We are about women taking ownership of their wellness journey in 3 ways: personally, relationally, and professionally. I'm inviting you to be honest about your grieving experience, your healing experience, and then lastly, your building experience. You're going through this because you're graced for this.